Hello, Wichita. Vice Mayor Hoheisel here with my good friend and fellow South Wichitan, Jeff Blubaugh, Councilmember Blubaugh, and a very special guest, my newborn son. He's one of the newest residents of the city of Wichita, and I'm sure Jeff here would agree that it's our children that we have in mind when we're making the decisions that we make.
Absolutely. I got to say, he's probably going to get the award for the cutest in South Wichita right now. What an adorable boy. Congratulations, Mike.
I appreciate that. Yeah, he is a cutie. That means he got most of his looks from his mother. So always grateful for that. He decided to just sit in on council chat this week, and always glad to have cute kids around. So.
Well, glad you're breaking him in early.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. He's behaved so far, but if he starts getting cranky halfway through, sorry, Wichita. I deal with cranky voters all the time, so maybe we can deal with the cranky baby right now.
We
right?
represent everybody, don't we, Mike?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We do. Well, get down to business a little bit. Next week's council agenda, we are going to be looking at an IRB exemption in my district, Spirit. They are eligible for another 5-year exemption. So we're going to be talking about why that's important to us, all the jobs and an investment that Spirit's brought in. It's one of the major employers of the city. As much as we want to diversify our economy, aviation is still at the heart of the jobs that we have in our city right now. So it's important that we show our support for businesses like Spirit and help them stay in Wichita and cement themselves into our society.
Absolutely, and the IRB is one of the tools that we're able to utilize for that. So much of the city, so much of the area depends on some of our larger employers like Spirit, and whenever, they had almost $1 billion worth of infrastructure increases here in the last couple of years, so we certainly appreciate them. And it's not just the jobs at Spirit, it's all the supplier jobs, just like with the semiconductor announcement we've had. A lot of people don't realize that for every job, there may be 2 or 3 jobs that back up that one new job, whether it's construction, whether it's working for one of the suppliers. So definitely a shot in the arm for everybody in the community. So in my district, in District 4, or at least part of it, we'll be having the 2023 River Festival agreement. The city will be sponsoring that with a $40,000 sponsorship, and the $40,000 for the special program and in-kind sponsorships as well. And we'll also be approving a temporary dehumidifier for the building over at the Ice Center, working to replace the chiller and get a second reek up and running. Appreciate everybody over there that's been visiting the Ice Center. They've only had the one sheet of ice, so hopefully we get that put back together and to where we can operate both sheets of ice. Downtown, we're also going to be revisiting our downtown wayfinding update with our signage. So
I got to say, the Willie Nelson concert last year is going to be tough for the Riverfest to be. I'm interested to see who they're going to bring around this next time.
It was so good last year, after we went through COVID and stuff, and we weren't able to have the Riverfest, and now, getting back to normal last year, and I think we're ready to start making everything bigger and better. So.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's a staple of our community, and every time we get the Riverfest going, it's always
got to put a plug in for March 11th. There, we're gonna have the St. Patrick's Day parade in Delano, bringing that back. Everybody's all excited about that. That's something that is just not just important to Delano; it's important to the whole city and the whole area. And I always feel like that's everybody's first taste of spring, getting everybody back together, and we start enjoying those outdoor events like that, and it's going to be a day full of fun for sure.
I miss seeing Jim O'Donnell in the parade. He was every year you could count. He was so Irish. He was clovers coming out of his ears. So, but it's always a great time, and just creating those memories for our children and the next generation. Moving on, in crucial infrastructure work, we're going to be looking at funding for bridge inspections and approving a raise grant for Kellogg and Eisenhower Parkway. Public safety, #1 issue with us always. So we need to make sure that our bridges are in tip-top shape, and we provide the funding for that, and we work to make sure that you are safe to go to and from work, to visit your family, all sorts of, wherever you're traveling around the city. We're also going to be looking at a bond sale for our water and utility revenue. Revenue bonds are a class of municipal bonds. You want to chat about that a little more? A little more experience over here.
It's just the idea. A lot of it is creating the opportunity where there'll be a sales tax exemption on furnishings for certain bond projects, and also a lot of the IRBs will make the property tax exempt. And a lot of people think that, like with Spirit, it's an all-out property tax exemption. It's not. It's just a small declining portion on whatever the new infrastructure, whatever the new construction is. So
Yeah.
it's not overall. And the way I look at it is you wouldn't be getting those tax dollars without them building that.
Right.
So, and a lot of times, especially with our spec building program and programs like that, a lot of times it's kind of a horse and cart thing where you maybe don't have the tenant yet, but you need to get the building, you have to have the building there, and a lot of times there's nobody in that building. So being able to utilize that tool, I think, really is very useful to our to our community and building up that.
Right,
So,
right. And again, we're talking jobs here that people pay taxes, from the employment as well. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of other effects that come towards expanding our tax base by promoting some of these bonds and some of these IRB issues here.
Week after next, I'm going to be taking a trip to Fort Worth with Councilmember Fry and Councilmember Tuttle, and we're going to be visiting with their police department. We're going to be doing a tour of how they do a lot of their strategic security throughout the city, and I think Fort Worth is similar to Wichita as far as they have an entertainment district with their stockyards and relatively larger in population. But still it's always good to benchmark what other departments are doing, especially in this day and age. It's so hard to fill all of our requisitions for being
Right.
a police officer. It's a very difficult time to take on that. Firefighters, every type of job, but police officers specifically, it's hard to fill those. So we're going to have to look at new ways to be able to provide that same level of security with folks.
Right, and this is the benefit of the laboratory of democracy.
Yep.
All the different cities try different things out. We look at what they do. We try and follow the guidelines of the best products that people put out there and improve on it ourselves. So I'm going to be really interested to hear what you guys find out
Yep.
back there and how we can work that into our own police department and continuing to make our community safe for
Yep, yep.
everybody.
Well, I've got to commend you. I did a similar thing the first time I was vice mayor. I had a new baby as well. So not only, a lot of people don't realize the role of vice mayor, how important it is, and how you're filling in for the mayor. You're representing the city at so many different events. That on top of juggling a new baby. I know with my wife and I, we had the routine where she would let me sleep at night, but I would take the baby to work, much like what you're doing. What they didn't realize is it's a little easier on us because the baby was usually sleeping whenever I had the baby versus being up all night. But, sure, you're very proud to be vice mayor, but that role of dad is something that you're
That's
going
right.
to carry forever. And proud of you, Mike. It's an awesome time for you and your family. So
It really
congratulations.
is. You realize just how blessed you really are.
Yep.
Having my family safe and secure, and you also keep in mind that not everybody has that.
Yep.
And it makes you work even harder to provide that, the bones for that for everybody else in our society. So I appreciate everything you say. They're still on the sleep schedule of nights, the time to wake up, and daytime's the time to snooze, like right now. So we do get it a little easier, I think. But
You got the number one constituent that's going to be judging you probably harder than any of your other
right,
constituents.
oh yeah. Another thing to think about is I had to wait 37 years to see the Chiefs in a Super Bowl, and my son has to wait 2 weeks. So a little unfair there, but he's got a winner for the next 15 years or so at least. So he really is a blessing to my family and I, and just the cutest little thing. I think I'm a little biased here, but
No, he's adorable, and I feel good that he's going to bring in a Chiefs win. So.
there we go. The good karma.
Okay, well, I guess we have a question of the week, so let's go ahead and roll to the question. Super Bowl food, wings or nachos? Oh boy, this is a pretty tough one.
This is a little background info about me. I developed a poultry allergy when I was 25 years old.
Okay.
So I still got to go wings. I can't eat them anymore. Out of the two, though, I still remember being a little younger, being able to handle it. And Buffalo Wild Wings, they had the 30-cent wings.
So I tend to agree on this. My wife would say the nachos. Trying to stick a little bit closer to a paleo or something a little healthier. I don't know that the barbecue sauce and everything that we put on the wings will drown it out, but a little bit more filling. Hopefully, you're not going to hit the wings quite as hard as what we would the nachos, but I'm for sure if you're going to give me one or the other at the Super Bowl game, it's got to be the wings.
I agree. Nachos, they're versatile. You can make add your own toppings to them, so they're nothing but love for nachos.
Right. I think the South Side of Wichita would agree with this, and in fact, probably going to roll that out in my survey in my next newsletter because I think the South Side would agree with us that it's got to be the wings.
Yeah, the rest of Wichita, you guys want some good barbecue, some good meat smoking, any of that going on. You got to come south of Kellogg. I hate to tell you guys, but that's just the reality of the situation.
You can do your meat and cheese boards and salamis and all your fancy delicacies somewhere else, but I think we got to stick with the wings. Well, thanks everyone for joining us. Be sure to subscribe and follow on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcast. Hope everybody has a great weekend, and go Chiefs.
Go Chiefs.